basketball in store for you. We're live at the American Airlines Center. We're in Dallas, Texas, the home of the Mavericks. All live on 2K Sports. For the Dallas Mavericks, they won their last contest, that game against Denver.
And their shooting percentage from that game tells the story. They got hot and they stayed hot.
I know, it was something to watch, wasn't it? I mean, I kept waiting for those guys to cool off, and it just never happened.
A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Parker and Manu Ginobili, their backcourt. Kawhi Leonard is out there with Splitter, and it's Duncan in at the 5 spot. And for the Mavericks, Sean Marion and Dirk Nowitzki, the forwards. Carter is out there with Mayo, and it's Kaman in at the 5 down low. And it's the Spurs ball. This is their second game playing the Mavericks this season.
Yeah, remember that game? They went right down to the wire. It came down right to the end, but the bench points seemed to be the difference in that game.
The bench play, Clark, really the difference in that.
I agree. Production from the bench was significant. When it comes like that, it's a gift.
Manu Ginobili, really one of the more unique players in the game. He's fast, he's quick, but it's the angles that he takes on his drives that seems to confound defenders. He just finds a way to get to the rim anytime he wants.
Now here's Kaman. And it's Mayo, that time on the assist by Kaman.
You know, Kevin, they were a step late on their defensive rotation, and that helped them get right to the rim.
Now let's find out what head coach Greg Popovich had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
Coach told me that he knows they have a tough assignment in Dirk Nowitzki. We talked about what makes Dirk so difficult to defend against, and he pointed to Dirk's ability to hit jumpers when he is seemingly completely off balance, saying it'll look like he's falling over, then he just turns and flips the ball in. I know I've seen Dirk do that on more than one occasion, guys.
And thank you for that, Doris. And Ginobili, here we go. Shot is off.
That's the kind of defense required when he's got the ball near the hoop. And they were right in his face.
Here's Carter. And it's good. Assisting on the play was Nowitzki.
Well, I think this is the start they want to come out and put some points up early. 3 or 4 so far.
That's a great point, Steve, about the angles. And talk about Ginobili getting inside. Of course, his skill at getting to the line is so huge. A big part of that effectiveness.
Yeah, he's a master of drawing fouls. There's no question about it. Being left-handed and lethal at driving from both sides of the floor makes him very capable of drawing fouls. Some would say he even embellishes the fouls that he gets. But that's a matter of opinion.
And there's the feed to Leonard.
Ridiculous move. Pour it down that time. Boy, that's almost unfair. I mean, who else can you think of with the ability to explode to the rim like that?
Well, there aren't many of them out there, Clark. You're absolutely right. Steve, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the reason the fans love watching this guy. He's one of the league's top athletes.
And that replay is sponsored by Sprite, giving us a great look at that one.
And that's exactly what you call a high percentage hoop there.
Sure is.
The one-handed throwdown. Gotta love it.
We're just about 2 minutes into the first quarter.
Coming out of the Southwest Division can be extremely tough on teams. I mean, last season, no different, as the Mavericks had to go up against a very, very tough division last season.
And it's his poise at the offensive end that impresses me most. This guy is unflappable.
Parker passes to Leonard. Back to Parker. Now the pass to Duncan. Over Kaman. No good from Duncan. You're right, Clark. Spurs were great. Memphis was solid. Mavs ended up third in the division, even though they played fairly good basketball season long as the defending champion. It is a deep division. Steve, one of the best, I think, in the NBA.
And now Anthony Davis has arrived in New Orleans, so it's just going to get better and stronger. So it's no joke playing in the Southwest.
First quarter of play. We're about 3 minutes in. Ginobili dishes to Parker. Back to Ginobili. And the shot is good. Ginobili's got his first bucket in this one.
Very few players have his explosiveness. I mean, man, can he ever fly to get to that rim?
And it's Carter penetrating to Mayo. Nowitzki outside. Beyond the arc. Rebounded by Manu Ginobili.
Well, the defense recognized how dangerous he is out there and got right up on him. Didn't give him any space.
Well, Mavs coach Rick Carlisle is one of only 11 people to win a title as both a player and as a coach. He was on that Celtics team in '86 that won it all, and of course at the helm for Dallas in 2011.
A guy like him cannot be left alone around the hoop. If you do, it'll be buffet style all day long. Plenty of seconds right there.
And here's Mayo for three. That's good. Mayo's got 8 points.
Well, he did a nice job of getting himself into just enough of an open area to find that spot for his shot.
Well, you mentioned, Steve, Rick Carlisle's playing days. He played for 5 seasons in the NBA. Not bad for a third rounder.
Yeah, not bad at all. Spent some time with the Celtics, won a championship, in fact. But he got right into coaching when his playing days ended, knew exactly what he wanted to do, and worked very quickly up through the ranks before taking that head coaching position with Detroit, and, of course, since with the Dallas Mavericks.
Catching up on the changes for Dallas. Elton Brand's checked in for King. Crowder comes in for Dirk Nowitzki. Dante Jones, he's checked in for Sean Marion. And it's Bobo in for Vince Carter.
Well, until recently, he was one of the top big men in Europe. Now in the NBA, he's really showing what he's got at both ends of the floor. An active big man. He can run the floor. He can rebound, block shots, and score a little bit as well.
Yeah, you know, a mobile 7-footer with a good basketball IQ. He's a factor on the offensive boards, boosting that box score with those second chance points. Here's Crowder after the basket by San Antonio. That doesn't go in either for Bobo. 1:04 left here in the opening quarter. Here's Mills. Outside for Jackson. From deep. Now Diaw. Passes it to Green. From past the arc. Here's Splitter. No good. Not a friendly rim at all this trip down.
Total domination on the glass by them so far.
Well, the anticipation has been outstanding, exquisite. I mean, it seems like they've got an extra sense as to know where the ball is coming off.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And the rebound goes to the Mavericks.
Excellent. Really solid job, actually, by the defense to get in his way as he was going up for that one.
Out to Brand. Pass to Crowder. The three. Kept alive. Here's Jones. Nice second effort. Good job staying with it.
He made that offensive rebound count. Nice job collecting the second chance points.
Green kicks to Mills with 2 seconds left. And the basket good. Mills has got his second bucket.
No mistakes on the offensive execution there.
And a good game so far as we conclude the first quarter. Mavericks lead by 1. We've got more in store for you right after this.
It's a special. It's amazing.
And we got a close game here as we get back to the second quarter. And guys, what's your take so far on the Mavs?
Boy, the offense has been so smooth. Everybody working together, and you can tell they're getting good shots pretty much every time down.
Yeah, they're a well-oiled machine there. I mean, they keep the ball moving, they keep themselves moving, and as a result, they're piling up the points.
So with Ginobili sitting on the bench, here's how the floor looks for Greg Popovich. Kawhi Leonard is out there with Boris Diaw. Then it's Tony Parker. And it's Duncan. Here's Diaw. Here's Leonard. No good from outside.
A clear look at the hoop. He doesn't miss many of those.
Lobs it up there. Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt there. Here's Duncan. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Duncan's got the opening field goal of the second quarter for the Spurs.
Well, Tony Parker does most of his scoring in close to the bucket. He is so fast and quick. The ability to get to the rim. He's also got that great floater, which accounts for his wonderful shooting percentage. He's able to shoot right over the top of those big guys. Those in-between shots, so difficult, but he makes them look easy.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Kevin, the Spurs traded to acquire Kawhi Leonard in last year's draft. According to Greg Popovich, Leonard was a guy they targeted all along. Pop said, our guys do a lot of intel, so we knew he was good people, somebody who would fit in, somebody who would worry about the team more than himself. We already kind of felt he had gotten over himself. just too full of themselves. Kevin?
Thanks, Doris.
Yeah, such a hard worker. He's really fit right into this team. Solid advantage in the rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here.
Go back to Tony Parker's penetration ability. One season, he almost led the league in points in the paint.
And for a point guard to do that, Kevin, that's really unheard of. It speaks to his ability to get to the lane and make tough shots, as well as his mentality offensively. He's always in attack mode. And you look at his body, this guy doesn't overpower anybody, but he cuts him up and dices him up as well as anybody ever has.
Here's Mills following the basket by O.J. Mayo. And Neal kicks to Mills. From 13 feet, it goes down. Mills has got 6.
Great matchup here. This game has gone back and forth.
Multiple lead changes, just a great game, guys.
Off target there with the little leaner.
Well, use his body well to lean around the defender. It's always going to be difficult to convert that shot, though.
Well, you know, the Spurs have been thinking about what's beyond the Tim Duncan era in the future. But Duncan keeps on ticking. I mean, he just keeps playing at a very high level. And as long as he does that, San Antonio will be tough to beat.
Stolen by Jackson. Ball's not loose. Carter kicks to Marion. Here's Brand. Marion passes to Brand. Carter, three-pointer, gets it to go. Carter's got his 3rd bucket of the night. It has been nip and tuck through the first half.
No kidding. I mean, neither team has been able to hold the lead for any length of time, guys.
Steve, so close.
Well, such a seesaw affair back and forth. And this has been an unbelievable game to watch.
Blocked. And they get it back. Kicks it to Mills. From downtown. Once again off the mark by San Antonio. Mayo dishing to Marion. It's Vince Carter on the wing. Gets it to go. And it's a 4-point Maverick lead. And going back to Tim Duncan in San Antonio, Clark, even if he isn't putting up great numbers, he really does seem to drive the team just through his power and his will.
Well, there's something about presence, and that's really what a superstar player like Duncan can do for you, Kevin. Even if he plays into his 40s, I just can't imagine the Spurs not being competitive with him on their roster.
I agree. Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Chris Kaman is checked in for Brand. Nowitzki comes in for Crowder. Dante Jones, he's checked in for Sean Marion. And it's Bobo in for O.J. Mayo.
Not stop. There's no way to stop that. I mean, there's nothing you can do when he's coming at him like that.
Well, that's right, Clark. Steve, he is a dangerous, dangerous player.
Yeah, especially when he gets to that launching pad right there in the lane. I mean, a pretty one-handed finish. That was nice. Well, Tony Parker is so fast. Sometimes you forget he's actually got pretty good size for the point guard position, about 6'2". And he's able to deal with both size and quickness matchups. Pretty good defender when he's really on his game.
It's stolen by Jones. And here we go. The Mavericks in a fast break. The offensive rebound. Kaman's shot is good. 1:19 left here in the second. It's tipped. And that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession. You talk about Parker as a defender. The Spurs, always a disciplined defensive team. And true, they hung their hat on defense. But they did tweak their offense, and they were much more explosive offensively.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes your best defense starts with good offense. So the points you make is a good one in terms of the changing style offensively of the Spurs. But nonetheless, at the point of attack, your point guard has to man and start your defense, and that's where it starts for all teams, including the Spurs.
Kicks it out to Nowitzki. Back to Carter. Dishes it to Cunningham. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Cunningham's got 5 points now this quarter. Spurs trail by 5. DeColo. The shot no good.
Not too much congestion in the lane. I think he could have gotten a better shot that time, no question.
Here's Carter. And the Mavericks getting another bucket right there.
You can't fault what he's been doing out there. Some really impressive shooting.
The Spurs have gone 6 of 14 shooting here in the second.
They went up against an extremely passive defense in that game, Clark. That was something to watch.
Yeah, but trust me, Steve, they weren't complaining about it at all. I mean, you love to catch a team having an off night defensively.
Here's Jones. Rebounded by the Spurs. Leonard's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Their next game playing at home as the Nets come into town. That game will be a quick pit stop before hitting the road again.
Well, you know, the fans out in Brooklyn desperately hoping for their team to win that one.
The Spurs have had 2 chances at the line already, making them both.
And guys, that's really an upgrade over how they shot last season. Not a huge upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless.
Here's Brand. That misses, would have counted had it gone in. And the first half ends in a close one. The Mavericks on top. They're up by 5. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Let's get right to it, fans. We got plenty of first half rivalry action to review. A good one in progress for the Mavericks. Sitting in 7th place right now, a little too close to the bubble for their liking. They've gotten some great minutes out of Vince Carter. He's got 11 points and some nice plays offensively, getting the assists going. And for the Spurs, it's a grinded-out effort. They're really going hard at it on the boards, offensively chasing down every miss they can. A solid performance by Thiago Splitter. He's picked up half a dozen points and, as usual, a big factor on the glass. Let's start things off with a look at what's coming up later tonight. The Clippers.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third.
A good night for Vince Carter. He's got 11 points, and he's ventured beyond the arc for a three-pointer today, too.
And that's another thing he's proven he has the ability to do. They wouldn't mind seeing a few more of those 3 balls drop for him. You know, a lot of people predicted that the Mavericks defense would really collapse without Tyson Chandler last year after he left for New York as a free agent. But their defensive numbers were solid. They were really good. So the structure and the foundation that Rick Carlisle has built has been able to withstand some of those personnel losses.
Sean Marion and Dirk Nowitzki, both excellent players at the forward spots. Mayo out there with Carter, and it's Kaman in at the center, filling out the middle. So that's who Rick Carlisle starts the second half with. And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Gentlemen, the San Antonio Spurs have been bit by bit transitioning from one of the stingiest defensive teams in the league over the last decade to a more offensive-oriented team. Last year, they led the league in field goal percentage and three-point percentage, and were second overall in points per game. Coach Greg Popovich said that the change has been out of necessity as their roster has changed. He said, quote, "We spend more time working on offense these days because our defense won't be as good as it used to be in the past. It just won't." Kevin, they may have lost some of their defensive quickness, but their scoring has never been better.
Well, Doris, don't call them boring. That offense is beautiful to watch. Well, you look at the stats for the Mavs, Steve, and Dallas, the second best team in the West when it came to opponent field goal percentage. Mark, that's a very good mark for them.
Excellent mark, Kevin, and they've come a real long way from when the Mavericks were viewed as a team that only scores and doesn't really play any deep. Rick Carlisle, one of the outstanding coaches in the league, really helped reshape them.
And as Steve said, that's including losing Chandler.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to still play good D.
That's right.
Duncan drops in the layup for 2. Duncan's got 10 points in the game.
He has such a great feel for how a missed shot is going to come off the rim. Really plays those angles well. That's exactly why he consistently beats defenders to the ball.
Elton Brand's checked in for Chris Kaman. And it's Carter.
Oh, get it! You know, that's something he's capable of every trip down.
And it's just impossible to get tired of.
Yeah, there's always this excitement, this aura that surrounds him, guys, and the crowd senses it.
And that was Sprite bringing you the close-up on that big-time play.
Well, you think about Vince Carter in his day, just a real superstar in Toronto, and he gave us maybe the greatest dunk contest performance of all time back in 2000. But those days are behind him. Still a very capable player, but not a highlight reel guy each and every night. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes with him, the contested shots are the ones that he tends to make. You know, sometimes if he's wide open, he misses, but you get a hand in his face, he seems to relish it.
And he can be virtually unstoppable in the low post at times, Steve. I mean, he has no shortage of moves that he can use. They're all effective. This guy really knows what he's doing down low.
Spurs trail by 4.
And you know, guys, and you've seen it over the years, one thing about it with the aging former stars like Vince Carter, you've got to try to watch how they operate. Every so often, when the knees are feeling good, they're capable of those throwback performances, but they're not quite as often seen with that type of explosiveness.
Now Leonard following the three-point attempt by Sean Merritt.
Throwing it down with one hand and making it look easy.
Easy and fun. He just thrives on making the D look silly.
Yeah, which is something he does pretty often, Kevin.
That was a nice replay. Brought to you by Spurs. And then Carter with the dunk.
Now we're cooking with gas, partner. My goodness.
A breathtaking display of aerial supremacy, no doubt.
It's almost unfair, guys. I mean, you can get up that high, that's crazy.
And the Mavericks with some changes. White comes in for Dirk Nowitzki. And it's Jones in for Vince Carter. Out to Brand. There's the dish to Mayo. Brand, a screen on Parker. Here's Mayo. The shot is off. And it's the Spurs taking it the other way.
Another board just continuing to add to that big rebound margin.
And it's a bit ironic, guys. I mean, you would think the score wouldn't be so close the way they're dominating the glass. But this one is still in the battle.
The Spurs have hit all 4 of their chances so far in this one.
Really, guys, it's just come together for them at the charity stripe this season. I mean, the confidence is there, and so too are the results.
Chris Kamen's checked in for the Mavericks. Crowder comes in for Sean Marion. And San Antonio also making a switch. Daniel Green, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard.
You know, sometimes teams don't age gracefully. And when your stars start to age, all of a sudden the team goes south. But the Spurs have managed to maintain a very high level of play, even with Ginobili and Duncan getting older.
The Spurs have gotten older, as you've said, Steve, but, you know, they've made the most of it. And I think, Clark, that adds to just how smart they are. They're high basketball IQ.
Without question, Kevin. And the big thing you see with them getting older is that the top guys get rested more. They're not playing as many minutes. And that you saw quite a bit of that towards the end of last year.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Eddie Curry, he's checked in for Kaman. And it's Carter in for Dante Jones. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for the Spurs. Corey Joseph comes in for Tony Parker. And Clark and Steve, as we approach the 4th quarter, still anyone's ballgame.
Yeah, exactly right, Kevin. I mean, these teams just simply keep trading baskets, and as a result, trading the lead.
Yeah, neither side really able to create much of a cushion at all. So which team can make a little run here? We'll see. Got to be very careful with this team. They can be really strong inside if they get good position.
Well, you give up that kind of deep position, Steve, you're done. It's over.
Carter, that's good.
Shooting percentage is off the charts, guys. He's really hitting his shots today.
And Joseph kicks to Duncan. That is good. Duncan's got 14 points for the game.
They are in attack mode right now. That's 10 straight points, guys, all coming inside the paint.
And, Steve, if I'm them, I'd keep going right to the heart of that defense like they have been until they do something about it. If they don't offer resistance, take everything you can get in there.
Here's Joseph after Dirk Nowitzki's bucket. Jackson kicks to Joseph. Good. Joseph's got his first points in this one.
And the pace has really ramped up in the second half.
Steve, I like the re-energized effort here. I mean, it's been a battle.
Carter kicks to Curry. Duncan on him. Right block shot. And another basket for Dallas.
They haven't been as aggressive from outside as they were in the first half. They're playing smart with the lead. I like that. They're being very selective and deliberate in their offense. That's a good strategy when you're on top.
Now here's Jackson. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. They get it back. Back to Duncan. He dishes it to Ginobili. Goes back up. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot two. This is his first free throw of the game.
And for him so far this season, he's shooting 83% from the free throw line. Those are outstanding numbers.
Guys, I like that this is a part of his game that has really been consistent this year.
Both free throws good from Ginobili.
He's taking care of business at the line, and you expect nothing less from him. Of course, a terrific shooter from the stripe.
Carter with a three, and he beat the buzzer, but it's no good. And we wrap up the third and looking to be an exciting fourth quarter. And we'll get going after this from the American Airlines Center. Start your... Well, welcome back as we get set to start the fourth. Who's had the Sprite uncontainable game in this one? Well, let's go to Doris Burke.
Kevin, our uncontainable game in this one, the stretch by the Mavericks. The basket seemed to double in width for them at the start of the second quarter, and they made the most of it. You have to think they'll close things out here as we head to the final quarter.
Thank you, Doris. And how many times, guys, do we see a run like this become the difference maker in the outcome of a game?
Well, that usually is the case, Kevin, when one team can get on a run like they did, where they just feel so dominant offensively. More often than not, that's going to be the difference in the game.
And in this game, even at the very beginning of that run, you could sense the momentum getting ready to take a... Yeah, he spent a little extra time on the rim there. It looked like he wanted to do a pull-up.
It looked like you're checking his landing. I think Clark Mann, pretty big statement, too.
Yeah, or so he'd have the refs believe.
That was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Sprite. San Antonio trailing here. DeColo, defended by Carter. DeColo. That's good.
What a game. This is really fun to watch.
And when games are tight like this, I mean, success or failure can really turn on small details and one or two plays. I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
On the basket by Jones.
What a half they're having from beyond the arc. It's getting ridiculous.
And there's no reason they shouldn't keep attacking from out there. I mean, they've got it going on in a big way now.
Carter for 3, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. And a quick look now at how San Antonio's schedule is shaping up. Their next game playing at home as the Nets come into town. That game is the first and last of their homestand. A few possessions into the fourth quarter, just over a minute played. Parker kicks to Duncan. All alone. Offensive rebound. Splitter. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. Let's see what the Dallas Mavericks have coming up. At the conclusion of this game, they're off to Washington, where they'll face the Wizards. That'll be the first half of a 2-game trip.
You know, the West can be a real difficult conference to navigate. And even though they were coming off a title run, the Mavericks had a lot of trouble finishing over 500 within the conference.
And some changes here for the Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki, he's checked in for Brand. And it's Marion in for Dante Jones. Mayo, the pass to Nowitzki. Back to Mayo. Some nice passing here by Dallas. From 11 feet away, Marion. Kamen's shot is good.
Now they'll take as many of those high percentage shots as they can get, guys.
And we've made our way through just over a minute and a half in this fourth quarter. And you see it with the West. The first step is just to make it into the playoffs, which the Mavs did. And once there, they felt that anything can happen. Unfortunately, they got swept. But, Steve, I guess that was the thing about last year, just getting healthy into the playoff picture.
Yeah, but what was interesting about that sweep against Oklahoma City, Kevin, was that Dallas really should have won the first 2 games on the road in Oklahoma City. But close games, close losses, and then everything sort of slipped away from there. And what I love about him, Kevin, is the supreme confidence he has at the offensive end of the floor. He just seems to want the big shot with the game on the line.
And his attitude, Steve, just his general poise and presence is something else you notice about him. He's really a calming influence over that team.
Here's Drops. Mavericks leading by 3. Outside Mayo. The 3 ball. And that one's good.
Yeah, that's his first 3 of the half. There may be more in store.
Spurs have gone 3 of 5 here in the 4th quarter. Pretty good numbers coming out of the break. Makes the alley-oop pass. Oh, and they get in the way of the alley-oop. Not to be. Good play defensively. Leonard finishes the break with a slam.
Costly mistake at the other end to set up that fast break.
That's what you want to do after a turnover. Push the ball up the floor and strike quickly.
Dallas calls timeout.
You know, for such a long time, the Spurs were looked to as an annual threat to win it all, especially with Tim Duncan in his prime. But the last few years, people haven't taken San Antonio seriously, but they still win consistently, night in and night out.
And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Yes, thanks, guys. I got a chance to hear what Rick Carlisle was saying to the team. He was absolutely adamant, saying, don't let them off the hook. Let's keep our foot on the pedal and keep doing the things that have gotten us here this far. We're almost home.
Thanks a lot, Doris. Thinking about the Spurs, a lot of it just seems to be habit for them. Winning has certainly become a habit down in Texas.
Yeah, they have the players to compete, but by no means do they seem overpowering to any other team. Pop is a great coach, Greg Popovich, and gets the most out of them, and that's a big part of it, Kevin.
The Mavericks leading. Mayo kicks to Brand. To Mayo. Lets it go from deep. That one goes. Count.
And that is clutch shooting, making the most of his opportunities here in the 4th.
He feeds it to Duncan. From 12 feet out. And the Spurs scoring again.
He is so good at working himself into the open spots on the floor inside that three-point line.
No good from Brand. Spurs trail by 3. Here's Parker. Sean Marion grabs the miss. Marion's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. Outside Carter. And Ginobili pulls it down. Ginobili's got 6 rebounds now in the game.
Now remember, he did make a three-pointer in the first half, so we'll see if he can find the range here in the second.
Again, they attack the hoop from the lane, and it's been really good to them.
Yeah, they're getting whatever they want down there. That's 4 of their last 5 buckets coming in the paint area.
Mayo dishing to Marion. To Mayo. Lets the 3 fly. That is good. Mayo's got 9 points in the quarter.
What a fantastic performance from long range.
Well, that's been his territory all game, Steve.
Chris Kaman's checked in for the Mavericks. Kawhi Leonard's checked in for San Antonio. 1:06 left to play here in the 4th. Ginobili with the ball. And it's Carter picking him up. Splitter passes to Leonard. Splitter. And it's sent back by Kaman. He kicks it to Nowitzki. The shot goes down. Very quick possession right there. And it's a 6-point Maverick lead.
Not much time now.
Yep, they'll need some breaks, Steve, to be able to stay alive.
Ginobili attacking. And he draws body contact. Looked like a blocking foul, and he was in the shooting motion. So he'll head to the free throw line.
What a game for Ginobili. He's got 8 points and 3 steals. He's given them a lot with his passing and with his defensive work.
Well, he's been so active on the court at both ends and really playing a nice game.
Both free throws good from Ginobili. Here is Carter, and that's an intentional foul. Basket here, and this game may be all over.
Yeah, main priority now has to be take care of the ball and use up some clock.
Pretty significant laps there on the defensive end, guys.
Yeah, those are the ones you just can't allow that.
No, if you're giving up dunks and layups defensively, you're in huge trouble.
Count it! And now they trail by just 4. And so they foul intentionally. First free throw is good, and that puts them up by 5. Second one is good. We both at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
Just making it look easy at the line and making their lead look a little more comfortable, too.
So it's San Antonio now. Parker kicks to Splitter. Money!
I like that one-handed spike right there.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
Yes, sirree.
Yeah, he's not going to miss many of those.
And there's the intentional foul. No choice but to stop the clock here.
Smart foul there. You've got to try to extend the game.
Yeah, it's still close, but they're fighting that clock as much as the score right now.
And so he drops them both. It's a 6-point ball game. There's 18 seconds left in the game. Parker drives in. No good from Duncan. And now we've got the intentional foul. Good on the first, and that makes it a 7-point lead. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's an 8-point game. Joseph with the ball. Off the drop step. Can't get it to go.
And the defense got away with a major lapse there.
So we see the Mavericks get the win here. Both teams played well, but these guys had the edge.
Yeah, I think so. They were just steak knife sharp. Very on top of their game here.
Well said. Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time.